Hello and welcome to the presentation Macronutrients. So what are the macronutrients? We have proteins that contain amino acid chains, and proteins are essential for us. We need to get them from our food. And we have the fats, saturated fats, mono and polyunsaturated fatty acid chains. So it's also chains from fatty acids, and they're also essential, so we need to eat them. And carbohydrates, sugars. So they're single, double, complex, and they're single, double, and complex carbohydrate chains, and they're not essential. So we like to eat, and we of course should eat carbohydrates, but we can also get our energy and building proteins from these other sources, fats and proteins. So they are not essential. That doesn't mean we don't have to eat. Should eat them. So from the biochemistry standpoint, all macronutrients are chains of carbon atoms. So if you break it down, it's always carbon we need for living. Fats. This is the first macronutrient I want to speak over. Fat is energy reserve from an evolutionary standpoint. So in the winter usually in the summer we gained some extra fat reserves, and we lived with these reserves in the winter, and this is the evolutionary reason to store fat. Fats are also building material for cells. You see it here in the German picture of cell membranes, and our brain is made out of fat. So if you want to have a healthy brain, you need good fats. It's also raw material for hormones. It is a heat protection. If you have more fat, then, by example, an ice bath is not so hard for you because you have more heat protection. It protects also organs. So if you get punches somewhere and there's more fat, it's protection. So and it's transporting substances like vitamins. You heard maybe of like the fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A or E. So if you want to transport them, you need fat. And it's a taste carrier. If you want a tasty meal, then take fat with it, and it becomes tastier, like your grandma already knew. So there are saturated fats and cholesterol. They contain these ones: coconut fat, ghee, lard, butter, bacon, MCT oil, cheese, eggs, and red meat. And cholesterol is an important hormone building block. For example, the sex hormones are built from cholesterol, like testosterone, estrogen, and estrogen. And they're suitable for heating and frying, so they're really good for that matter. And the common mistake is that people still fear saturated fats and cholesterol. It's actually based on false studies out of the 1950 years, and it's actually not true. The science already proved that it's not true, and it's not connected to high cholesterol and not connected to heart disease like people used to say. So use them. What you shouldn't use is trans fats. So these are artificially created fats for the processing of foodstuffs, like you see on the picture. These are typical stuff where trans fats are used, often not precisely declared on packaging. That's a problem. So if you, in a perfect world, you won't eat something with packages, and then you have, no processed food, and then it's fine. By example, frozen pizza, nut nugget cream like Nutella, chips, baked goods like donuts, and, chocolate bars could contain trans fats. Fried food, especially when the fat is often used. So you can also fry your fries with good fat, but if you go eat outside, then it's most of the time not happening. There are also polyunsaturated fatty acids, and one of them are omega-6. So these are sunflower oil, corn oil, soybean oil, nuts and seeds, and the oils of it. And they promote inflammation, which sometimes can be good. You need sometimes inflammation to work against infects and stuff. But people in this time in our Western culture have often chronic inflammation, and this is also promoted. So in a bit we come to the ratio to omega-3, so we need both, but often is the common mistake too much of these omega-6, but you don't know it exactly, but the most of the people, 95%, have it. Too much of it, like frying oils, nuts, nut puree. I also made this mistake that I ate so much nut, so my ratio was also not so good. All industrial foods, organic spreads and paste. So even if you go to the organic market and all the mixed pastes, it's included. So you see this here on the chart again. People think often it's good to cook with these, but actually it's not. We have way too much of them. And we have the omega-3. So like I said, we need both, but the most people have less of these. It's contained in seaweed, fish, pasture-raised meat, so like grass-fed meat, eggs. They're also like organic, and flaxseed. These are anti-inflammatory, so it's the opposite. They're healthy for cardiovascular health, for your skin, for depression, for your nervous system. It's like a Swiss knife of health. Like it's really, really good, and good for your brain. And people often describe it like a really obvious change of their cognition if they use it. And I also like it. Common mistake is they take too little. No fish, no algae, no grass-fed meat. So the tip is consume daily omega-3 fats, even possible as supplements, if you don't like fish, for example. So it's like I already said, it's the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Both of them, we need them. So if the ratio is 2-1 or at least 4-1, then it's good. It's like a healthy exchange of molecules. And if it's higher than this, like here in the Western society, there is no good exchange in the cell membrane. Here it's soft and it's easy to exchange. So this is what we want. And the bad ratio favors many chronic inflammations in our society. So also we have the monounsaturated fats like olives and the olive oil, avocado and the avocado oil, and so on, macadamia, hazelnuts, and usually they have valuable polyphenols and antioxidants that help your also your heart health, your cardiovascular health, and consume it in moderation, not too much, because yeah, they're also making this cell membrane, if you take too much, a little more hard, not so easy to get through. Does fat make you fat? This often people think it, like, I should eat less fat to lose weight or to lose fat. Like I said in the beginning, energy is CO, it's carbon. Excess energy is stored in the form of fats. Often carbohydrates are the problem, so it doesn't matter which one, which energy you store too much. If it's too much, it will be stored as fat. And as it is so easy to eat a lot of carbs, you know that a lot of sugar eating is easy. That is often the problem, and people eat too much. Like you see on the picture, usually to make a animal fat, you give them a lot of carbs. And if humans eat a lot of healthy cereal, then they wonder, how become I so fat? So think about it. So excess energy makes fat, no matter from which macronutrient. So it doesn't matter. You can get fat from fat if you eat too much of it and don't get rid of the energy, don't exercise or whatever, move too little. So I hope that is clear. Proteins, other macronutrient. Amino acids are the building blocks for the parts of the proteins, and they're building materials for cells, like muscles, enzymes, immune cells. So it's not just I need protein for my muscles, it's for it. Enzymes you need it for every for so many stuff that's happening in your body or your immunity system. So if you get sick, you need maybe more amino acids as well, like not just vitamin C. They're contained in animal products. There is the best availability. You can get them also from plants, but the variety is also not so much in plants. You can get the amount, maybe if you eat legumes and stuff, but the variety and the bioavailability is better in animal products. You can also, if you eat vegan or vegetarian, you can support that with supplements to get the variety better. Like I said, also legumes and vegetables and nuts. Common mistake is often too little total protein. So people always the most often the mistake is that they take more carbohydrates and less protein, and some amino acids are missing. Like I said, they have maybe total protein as a vegan or vegetarian, but the variety is not perfect, so we need to supplement. And we have carbohydrates, carbs. So these are fruits, potatoes, cereals, also other things that contain carb, but these are mainly carbs. So carbs are glucose chains as an energy carrier. So is our main energy source. So carbs are nice and make us feel good. So glucose can be stored in liver and muscles. So if we eat more than we need in this situation, it will be stored, and that's fine. So right now I started my day without carbs, so I have still some of them stored and use them for the energy. So which carbs do we have? There are simple double carbs and complex carbs. The simple carbs are the sugar you use in your household, fructose and also lactose from milk, and dextrose. And they deliver you fast energy. and with this fast energy, they do a rapid and excessive blood glucose rise, and then also excessive insulin rise, and then a fall of the blood glucose, and so you have hunger again, and this is the common blood sugar crash. On the other hand, we have complex carbs. These are root vegetables like carrots and stuff, and potatoes. They have a slower energy production, so it takes more time to give you energy, and it's not like an apple gives you the energy is there. It takes more time, and so you have a slow and steady blood glucose rise, and also the following moderate insulin rise, so you don't have that big crash. So the common mistake here is, for many people, they take too many carbs, so they see it like a satiety side dish, but actually it's just filling you, and so you have more problems with blood sugar. So people often should eat more protein or fats or fibers. So, and too many simple carbs, like here on this side. So also with sugars, juices, and even if you eat too much food, it's influencing your blood sugar. So the tip is focus on complex carbs and avoid industrial sugar, and eat fruit in moderation. Also dietary fiber, I have it in I don't know in English, Klammer in German, because some people don't see it as a macronutrient, but it's also really important, and it's the digestible food components. So it's the part of food that you cannot digest, and it's contained in vegetables, fruit peels, cereals, and more. So many food has fiber, and makes you full. It's volume in your body, in the stomach. So that's also a good point. If you don't want to eat too much, without getting too much energy, then eat more fiber. And it's binding and elimination of toxins, so it's also a good part of fiber, and it's influencing your blood sugar. Even if you eat sugar and you mix it with fiber, then the blood sugar is good and not getting so high as if you just eat the fruit or the sugar. So it's also food for your bacteria in the intestines, so that's also really good, because many people have already problems with their intestines and with the microbiome in there. So we want to feed them in a good way with good fiber. So my tip is every meal should contain enough fiber. So how can you distribute your macronutrients? You see here the German suggestion of macros, and how it was with our ancestors, like in the paleo diet, and this is more what the science is advising you now to do. So check your individual needs depending on calorie consumption and body composition and goal. So if you want to be a top athlete, you need more carbohydrate than if you just work in an office all day. And like a rule of thumb is, like, the more body fat and less activity you have, the less carbs you should eat. Like, earn your carbs. If you move more, you can eat more carbs. And if you already have less body fat, you can should eat more carbs. This is my situation right now. I'm maybe in a situation I should eat, or I want to eat more carbs. Like, there's some times when I ate less, and now I eat a little more. But it's always, I'm really aware of the mechanisms. Protein 1.5 to 2.5 gram per kilogram body weight, and depending on goal, if you want to really gain muscle, then a little more, or if you're right now you're getting sick, you also need more protein. Yeah, so if you are in the coaching, we can talk about the goal and see how much protein you need. And a good distribution of and sufficient amount of fatty acids. Like I said, you want a healthy brain, you want a good mood, you want no depression and so on. So fatty acids are really, really important, especially omega-3. And this is also what makes you full. Like, it's not the potato you eat more, like your the receptors in your stomach, they feel if you have the essential stuff enough, and that's omega-3 and amino acids. Really interesting, and I didn't knew that a half a year ago neither, but that's what makes you full. If you want to know more of this topic, then I recommend you the Andy Galpin. He's a sports scientist, and he has a really good videos on YouTube about nutrition and which nutrition they have, also micronutrients, and he has like a 25-minute version and a 5-minute version, and also this is a German one, all macronutrients. So if you want to learn more, check this out, and guten Appetit. This is how we say in German. Bye bye.